Hi everyone, thanks for watching. I'm Lauren from Guthrie and Ganny, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you the live recording of the question and answer session that I did over on the Instagram platform on Monday the 22nd of January 2024. So I'll be showing you lots of beautiful fabrics from my shop, answering all of your questions that you've sent in beforehand. So looking for advice and tips on your dressmaking and your sewing projects, and lots of fabric and pattern combinations as well. So lots of inspiration coming up. So if you are up for an hour or so of just chilled, light-hearted fabric and sewing chat, you're in the right place. Grab yourself a cuppa, and if you're watching here on YouTube and you want to ask a question for me to cover in a future session, or if you've got anything to contribute as well, then please feel free to comment below and I'll add it to my list for next time. So I will switch over to the live recording now. I hope you enjoy it and I'll see you very soon. Hello, good evening everyone. It's Monday night, it's 8 o'clock. It's the 22nd of January and you're here with me in the G&G shop, and I've got another fun, light-hearted hour of sewing and dressmaking chat ahead for you. So it's lovely to see all of you that are joining live. Hello. I hope you're all well and that you had a nice weekend. And yeah, it's been pretty windy and stormy here in the UK, so I hope that you're safe and sound wherever you are. It's been, yeah, pretty windy here today and stormy. Hello from the Gambia. I bet it's not stormy there. Hi everyone. So I have got quite a jam-packed hour for you this evening, and also if you're new here as well, I've had a lot of new followers this week, which is lovely. Welcome, come on in. If you're new, hi. If you're not new, also hi. I love seeing all of you, and I love seeing where you're all from as well. Tullibody and Munich and Edinburgh. 2 people in Edinburgh. I wonder if you're friends. And Cornwall and Northeast England. We're just all over. Have you replaced the fabric shop Barry's Fabric? No, that is still there in town. Good evening from Oxford and Motherwell and windy Herefordshire and Bristol. Hi everyone. So yeah, I have got lots of things to get through this evening, lots of questions, lots of things to show you, new fabrics and loads of pattern combinations and things. So I'm sure you're going to find it most interesting. So yeah, hi to the new people. If you're new, hi. And then a few things that I wanted to keep you updated on before we get started. So we had some new fabrics arrive last week, but they just come on Monday. So I was showing you some of them. I've got some more to show you. But this week we are expecting 3 more deliveries, all of new fabric, which is very exciting. So if you are coming to the sample sale this weekend in the shop, which I'll talk about more in a second, then you should hopefully be able to see all of them. But otherwise I'll have lots of new things to show you by next Monday. So yeah, watch out for them popping up online. It's going to be lots more of the spring summer season fabrics that are coming in. And then if you are coming to the sample sale this weekend, then exciting. So yeah, we've got a special sample room clearance sale from one of our amazing suppliers who were basically clearing their sample room, and there is so many fabric gems in there. Honestly, you're gonna love it. So that is on Saturday and Sunday. So we're open for a little bit on Sunday, which we're not normally. It's a good chance to come and visit the shop anyway at the weekend. So hopefully I'm going to see all of you, lots of you there. And yeah, that was I going to say anything else about that? We've just been busy getting ready for it, and I'm putting together a sample rail of lots of different things that you can make with the type of fabrics that are in the sample sale as well, and it looks really good. It's just going to be very inspiring. So yeah, hopefully I'll see some of you there. Somebody was asking, is there any way to shop the sample sale internationally, or I guess in the UK as well, if you're a little bit too far away to come into the actual shop? There will be, but not this weekend. So we will have some stuff that will be available online, but that's going to be probably in a week to a couple of weeks afterwards, because it obviously takes quite a lot of time to list everything on the website. And part of the reason that we're able to sort of offer the special prices and discounts that we can in the sample sale is because we're not having to spend all of that time to list it, because it obviously is, you know, like really time consuming to like photograph individual bits of fabric and everything and list it. But yeah, we do have, because basically it's all like fixed length. So in the sample sale it'll be like fixed lengths of pieces that have come, and they're anywhere between like 1 meter and 5 meters basically, but we do have some fabrics, and when they came there was more than 5 meters on the roll, so then we can list those ones online. So there will be some stuff that will be available afterwards, so yeah, but I'm sorry it won't be exactly this weekend. I'll be visiting on Saturday and bringing a friend who hasn't visited the G&G shop before, and that's exciting. Sounds like a fun day out. Will the sample fabric be available in the shop after the weekend, please? Possibly. I guess it just really depends on kind of what's left, because we've not really done anything like this before. I'm not totally sure like exactly what to expect, to be honest. But it's going to be, because the sample sale itself will be happening in the studio, so it's not actually on the shop floor. So the regular shop floor will just be like open as normal. We'll have all the lovely new fabrics out for you to browse. Yeah, like shopping in the shop is going to be just as per normal, and then all the sample sale will be upstairs. So then yeah, it just depends what's left really, and then maybe if we can like fit some onto the shop floor afterwards, possibly. Somebody's asking what do the prices start from. So we've got 3 price points in the sample sale: £6 a metre, £9 a metre, and £12 a metre. So then because there's like they're fixed lengths of fabric, obviously then it will depend on how much a particular fabric is as to how much it costs. So prices, I guess, start from £6, because if there's a fabric that's in the £6 a metre category and it's a metre, then that'll be £6. But as I said, they all sort of vary. So yeah, some of them are like a metre, and then some of them are sort of up to 5 metres. Somebody's asking, how wide is the fabric? Typically they're all sort of wider fabrics, so they're about 140 centimetres wide approximately. A few people are saying that my voice is going funny. I'm sorry about that. I'm not entirely sure what I might be able to do about that, because I do have full Wi-Fi signal, so I'm sorry if my voice is going in and out. I'm not aware that I'm speaking in a different volume, but yeah, hopefully it evens itself out. Some people are saying it's fine. Maybe if the voice has been a little bit weird, maybe like go out and then close the app and then come back in again. Sometimes stuff like that can help as well. Okay, so in terms of other events and things that are coming up, so we are looking to have lots more fun reasons to visit the shop this year, lots of different types of events and different things going on. So in February we're going to have a weekday evening event, which is going to be like a demonstration or sort of talk on the Lutherloh pattern system. So we did this years ago. I think it's actually back in maybe like 2015, and basically it's a system. I'll give you like a brief summary, but we'll be releasing more details about it soon. It's basically like a way that you can draft and draw out your own patterns based on your own body measurements. So the idea is really that you can make a sewing pattern that fits your body measurements, like rather than having to sort of adjust it. It's quite interesting. So yeah, there's going to be like a little demonstration about that you'll be able to come and visit the shop. So yeah, more details on that coming soon. Now, in terms of chat that we were talking about last week, so somebody was asking about an iron, and we were having a bit of a discussion about actually how it's quite important to have a really good iron when you're doing sewing and dressmaking, so that you can get really good results on your projects. So then we had lots of iron chat on the Facebook, not the Facebook, the YouTube recording, because I always post the recording on YouTube as well. So I thought I'd just say what some people were finding useful. I personally use a Tefal iron, but we do use Phillips irons in the studio here for all of our workshops. So I'm not like wedded to a particular brand. I mean, generally having a really good steam function is good, will make a big difference. Okay, so we had the Murphy Richards Turbo Steam Pro as a recommendation. We had a couple of mentions of the Laura Star Lift Plus. And one viewer said that in regards to the Laura Star, I gave it to myself for my birthday a couple of years ago. It is an integrated iron and board that uses dry steam. I mean, that sounds very fancy. I bet it's amazing. And then somebody else saying they used a high-end T-file. So yeah. So, okay, in terms of the questions that were sent in beforehand, I will start chatting through them now, but if you do have any other questions as I'm chatting along about sewing or fabric or anything like that, then please let me know and I will try to answer them. If I don't know the answer off the top of my head, then I'll add it to my list for next week. Okay, so the first question was tips for sewing Mongolian fleece fabric, please. Anything to be aware of or careful about? I hadn't actually come across this fleece fabric before, but I had a little look at it, and it basically talks about the pile that is on the fabric. So it says that it's got a long pile on one side and then a shorter pile on the other side. So I have worked with a fabric that's like this before. Where did it go? Here it is. It was like an ex-designer fabric that we had years and years ago. And so unfortunately we don't have it anymore, but I thought that it would still help to sort of illustrate the point. So this is like a mohair fabric, but you can see that it's got quite a long pile. So my advice would be, like, generally when you're cutting it out or you're working with it, is it's probably going to shed quite a lot of fluff. So it's going to be best if you can try to almost like get your scissors in under where the long pile is, so that it just kind of keeps the fluff. And then what you might find is that when you sew it, some of the pile gets sort of stuck into the seam. So then what you can do is just use, like, you could either just use your fingers, or you might be able to use maybe like a sort of chunkier knitting needle or something. I suppose it depends how long the pile is on the fabric. And you can kind of like pull it out a little bit, just so that it helps kind of fluff it, and then it can disguise the seam a little bit. So yeah, that was kind of what came to mind, but I haven't actually ever sewn with Mongolian fleece fabric before, but with those characteristics, that other fabric's quite similar. Okay, somebody's saying, I love the look of the ditzy pink stretch viscose online today. Would I use a woven pattern? So I'm just actually, I might by coincidence, no, sorry, I thought I had that fabric out for somewhere else. I can't actually picture what that fabric is off the top of my head. I'm really sorry. But yeah, if it's a stretch viscose and it doesn't have jersey in the title, then it probably is a woven fabric. So then you would still use it with a woven pattern. It would just have like a little bit of give for extra comfort, I guess. I like the shape of your top. Which pattern is it, please? This is actually a jumpsuit. It's the Closet Core Sally jumpsuit, which we did as a sewing society kit back in 2020, so it's quite an old one, and it's like a 10-sew jersey that I used for it. It's got like a nice sort of detail at the back as well, but yeah, it's actually a jumpsuit. It's nice and stretchy and comfy, which is what I'm all about right now. I have the Sally jumpsuit pattern but never made it. Has anyone made it? No. It's really nice. I'm making the I Am Patterns bob trench in a cotton twill colour stone. Any lining recommendations, please? I guess if it's a stone colour, it's going to be quite neutral. We do actually have a really nice one, which is sort of, it's an ex-designer one. It's like a pinky kind of background with little blue flowers on it. It's really cute. It was actually some leftover lining fabric that we had as part of our coat kits last year. Can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but yeah, it's a viscose lining. So if you search viscose lining in the website, then you should find it. But I think that would look nice with it. It's not like a really bright pink. I think it would tone nicely with the stone colour. Would the blue fabric with the embroidered flowers be suitable for the Liberty Natasha dress, please? I can't actually picture what the Liberty Natasha dress is. I'm sorry. I'd need to check on that one. That's okay. I've never used stretch viscose before, so I wasn't sure how it compared to knit. Yeah, but basically it's, if it's got jersey in the title, or like it references it being like a stretch fabric, actually no, ignore that last bit. If it's got jersey in the title, then it means it's actually a knitted fabric. So you would class it as a knit, like the way that it's going to have been like woven and knitted. It means it's going to be like super stretchy. Whereas if it's actually a woven fabric and it's been like woven, you know, and it's got like a proper warp and weft, but it just has elastane fibres in it, and that's what gives it its stretch. Whereas knitted fabric, the stretch kind of comes from it being knitted and from it having stretchy fibres in it as well. So yeah. Okay, good programme to watch on Catch Up Inside the Factory with Greg Wallace. They make jeans from the yarn in Italy to making jeans in Wales. Interesting, that does sound good. I treated myself to Hudson Pants jogging bottoms. What fabric do you have I could use? Check out the Cozy Colour range. It would be really nice for that. I have it in that colour too. It's a great pattern as the bodice is completely double lined, so comfortable. Pattern also has options to make it as a maxi dress. Yeah, I've made the maxi dress version as well. Both are really comfy. I received the Dawn jeans kit and I'm so excited to start making them. Good. I've washed the denim, so I'm ready to start. Thank you so much. Good luck. You're gonna love it. Just take your time. Okay, so the next question sent in beforehand was advice on adding a ruffled collar to the Grainline Archer shirt. This is actually fairly easy to do. I don't have an example to show you, but what I do have is so this is the Archer shirt sample that we had as part of the kit last year, and we added, you see there's like a little ruffle just at the button band there. And it's quite a narrow one. So basically, oh, that's making the light go funny. So basically what you need to do is you're going to have to round the collar out a little bit. So you won't really be able to have it like quite as pointy as that. It can be like a bit pointy, but it's not going to be like a sharp point. And you basically need to measure the length of the collar, like the outer collar piece for the size that you're making. And then you want to add on like a little bit either end for seam allowance. I would just say like a centimetre is fine. And then you need to think about how dense you want that ruffle to be. So it might be that you I would say either times that length of the, you know, the outside measurement of the collar, either times it by 1.5 or times it by 2. And obviously the more you times it by, the denser the ruffles will be. It depends on like the thickness of fabric that you're using as well. And so then you need to basically just cut out like a long strip for that. So whatever like depth you want your ruffle to be sticking out, you'll need that twice plus the seam allowance as well. So twice. So you can sort of work out like the width of the strip you need to cut out and the length. And then basically before you put your outer and your inner collars together, you just need to put gathering stitches in that long narrow section of fabric that you've got, and sew it in the middle. So it's a fairly easy thing to do. I've done it in a collar on the Fibre Mood honey top before that actually comes with a ruffle, but you're essentially just cutting out a rectangle, so it's like fairly easy to sort of work it out. Okay, so the next one was, I think I need to change the needles in my overlocker. Do I use universal 80s? So no, it's better to use specific overlocker ones. And Becca, who teaches our overlocker workshops and is just like the overlocker oracle here at G&G, advises also to check that it's the correct system number for your machine as well. So I would definitely like look in the handbook that you've got and check that you're using the right needles. I think we do sell some Prim overlocker needles, but it might be that you maybe need to go to like a more specialist sewing machine / overlocker place where they're going to have like a bigger range of specific overlocker needles. Okay, the next one was, I'm making an Archer shirt. Another question about the Archer. It is a really good pattern. What weight of interfacing would you suggest? So for double gauze, I haven't made the Archer in double gauze before, but I have made the Helen's Closet Gilbert, which is a bit of a different type of collar, but I guess you would want the interfacing to do like a similar type of thing. It was a while ago I made it, but I'm pretty sure I used this one here, which is the ultra soft lightweight iron-on interfacing. So yeah, it's nice and lightweight basically, because if you're going to be doing anything with buttonholes, you've got to put some kind of interfacing in to make the fabric sturdy enough. so yeah, that's what I would suggest. But I do have a blog post which is all about my tips and advice for sewing and working with double gauze. It's a little bit sort of further back in the blog. But yeah, if you just search double gauze on the website, then it should come up in the search results as well. Okay, let me see. Sorry, lots of questions have been coming in there, but I was kind of missing them. I've made the Sally dress from a G&G kit and I love it. Great, I know it's so comfy. Cozy cover fabric, cozy colours, sorry. Cozy colours. It's like a, yeah, somebody's saying that. It's like a sort of fleece back sweatshirting fabric, but it's a nice weight. My New Year's sewing resolution is to try to use patterns I already have. Dawn jeans and I Am Sunshine jeans. Avid seamstress blazer. They sound like lovely projects to get cracking with. I have bought the brushstroke floral stretch viscose. I've not used stretch viscose before. Can I use it to make the next Josephine or peony dress? All of them. It would be fine for all of them. Great tip on the overlocker needle. Lovely. Okay, so the next question was, do you have any tips for working with knit fabrics as a beginner without an overlocker? So you can definitely sew knit fabrics without an overlocker. You can just do it on a regular sewing machine. What you might find useful is if you use some Mariflex thread. So this is the Mariflex thread here. We sell it in a range of colours on the website, and basically it stretches. You're probably, I don't know if how much you're gonna be able to like sort of see that in the video. But basically the thread stretches because the key thing is that if you're sewing jersey, you need your seams to be able to stretch with the fabric. Otherwise, there's a chance that the seams could just pop open, or like the thread kind of pops open and then you've got like a hole in your seam that you have to sew up. So either you have to sew with a Mariflex thread, which is stretchy, in which case you can just use a regular you can use a regular straight stitch. You use it in the top of your machine and in your bobbin as well. And I find my machine usually likes it a bit more if I lengthen the stitch a little bit. So I usually put it up to a 3mm length. So it's supposedly some machines you have to alter the tension a little bit, but I don't need to in my machine, but that it might be depending on what machine you've got that you do have to do that. So that makes it nice and easy because you can just use a straight stitch, but then the stitches will still stretch, which is good because it's stretchy thread. You typically don't need to finish off the seam allowance. It's not like 100% like that, but for regular like sweatshirting fabric, jersey, t-shirt weight type fabric, you don't need to finish off the seam allowances. So on like something like this, for example, which is jersey fabric, you don't need to finish off the seam allowances. So yeah. Try and keep it as relaxed as you can when you're sewing it so it doesn't get stretched out as you sew. Always 100% pre-wash jersey stretchy fabric. It's very typical that it can stretch in the first wash. If you are someone who tumble dries, it will shrink even more. So I would suggest not tumble drying it. It will keep the body of your fabric better for longer. But if you are somebody who just chucks everything in the tumble dryer, I would even consider pre-washing it twice, because I have pre-washed stuff before and put it in the tumble dryer, usually when I'm making stuff for my kids. And then sometimes it does shrink a little bit again on the second wash when you use the tumble dryer. So yeah, hopefully that helps. Okay, the next one was also related to sort of stretch fabric, I think. Why does the hem of my sweater keep flipping up? So there could be a few reasons for this. It depends on like the sort of shape or cut of the garment. So sometimes if it's, say, to try and illustrate the point, say for example that it was quite an A-line shape, or it was like quite a bit wider at the bottom than it was further up. If you're then turning a hem up into that, and like the bottom circumference of the hem is bigger than the bit that you're pushing it up into, then that can affect it from sitting flat. So it's almost like where the point is that you flip it up into being the hem, you need to like bring it in a little bit to make it narrower. It might be that stabilizing the hem might help a little bit. So you can use something called Stretch Fix, which comes in two forms. Either you can buy a pack of it, or you can buy it by the 10 centimetre. So we sort of sell it from a bigger roll. You buy it by the 10 centimetre. basically works a bit like Bonda web or like hemming web, but it stretches. So you like iron it onto the back of the fabric, you peel the paper off, and then you iron the fabric again, and then that can help sort of stabilize it and just make the hem a bit more sturdy, but it will still stretch because it's stretch fix. And then also I was thinking another reason it might happen is maybe if you've overlocked your hem first and then you're turning it back, is that as you've overlocked it, it could be that the fabric's getting stretched out at that point, and that's to do with your differential feed. So it may be that your differential feed is too low, and that's making the fabric almost like wavy a little bit after you've overlocked it, which is kind of stretching it out. So then that might make it flip out as well. So yeah, hopefully some of those things are like good things to try. Okay, do you wind the bobbin in the usual way with Maniflex? Yes, you do. I bought some gorgeous Liberty Tanalon last week. Any suggestions for a dress for a wedding? A lot of people suggest Dean Doe Magnolia for a wedding. I would agree, that's really nice. The peony dress would be lovely. It might be that you want to line it depending on how sort of opaque or see-through the lawn is. I wore the Magnolia as a wedding guest dress. Someone else wore the Closet Core wrap dress. Forgotten the name. It's probably the Elodie. The Sauvre Eve dress is lovely for a wedding. Also agree with that. Just made the paper cut Luli dress. I really like that one too. That I wore for my daughter's graduation, and I'll be wearing it for a wedding soon too. Yeah, that one's really nice. By Hand London also do lovely dresses. The Anna or the Flora. I may have seen them hacked together. I'm not sure if I have that much skill, but it looks beautiful. I made the New Look Mrs. Fit and Flare dress for a wedding last year. I made a facing instead of a hem for a t-shirt, which kept flipping out. Another good suggestion. The balloon sleeve dress is very glam for a wedding. Would be stunning in the Tanalon. Lots of ideas there. Thanks everyone for sharing. Okay, the next one was, is it possible to do a full seat adjustment on the Avery leggings? That's the Helen's Closet pattern Avery leggings. And basically the leg pattern, like the front and back leg, are just like one piece, so you don't have a separate bit for the back. So what you could try doing is just adding some height to like the back crotch, and then kind of like merging it out and sort of grading it back to like roughly where the side seam will be. I suspect there's probably a notch there. I can't remember off the top of my head. And then the little sort of triangle bit that goes where the gusset is as well. It might be that you can like add some length onto that too. So yeah, you could give that a try. I made the Sew Over It Sophia dress with the tie back with Liberty for a wedding last year. I really like that one. That's the one where you can like tie it, you can almost like disguise your bra strap with it. And I really like that dress as well. Okay, the next one was how to take some of the fullness out of the back of the next dress and shorten the bodice. So I have got a next dress here, and so I'm presuming maybe like you mean some of this fullness here. Basically you could just like, because you're going to be cutting that bit on the fold, you could just fold a bit of it away, and then like, so you're just sort of taking a bit out of the centre back. As far as I can remember, that's quite a sort of straight panel anyway. It depends also if you want just the fullness taken out here, or you want the fullness taken out here as well. Another option could be to take a little bit of fullness out that back yoke section, as again, just maybe even like by 0.5 centimetre, because that would then be a centimetre. You could just like take that off where the fold line is, and that will sort of bring it in a little bit tighter as well. And then to shorten the bodice, I guess I can't actually remember if they're shorten or lengthen lines, but you could using the Grainline as a guide, you can just, if there's not, then you can just draw a line at 90 degrees to the Grainline and then just shorten it like at the same point, front and back. So I guess you'd be like shortening that sort of distance there. Yeah, fairly easy to do. So I hope that helps. Okay, the next one was fabric and pattern recommendation for a gym bag. So I was thinking maybe the Grainline travel set have something that's a bit more like a sort of duffel bag, and then there's also the Sew Over It City set bag, which has like a nice sort of bigger bag in it as well. And then in terms of fabric, I was thinking, where have my rolls gone? We've got the Bedford cord, which is a nice one for a bag. this is what we used for the making backpack kit. So yeah, the Bedford cord, it comes in quite a few different colours. It's 100% cotton, 1680 a metre. I used Sally Tomato Townsend bag as a gym bag. I've not heard of that one, but it sounds cool. Or the other one that would be like nice and sturdy is we've now got the Millerain fabric, which is like water repellent as well. So this is the fabric that we had in the Sotac Patterns Portland tote kits before Christmas. But it's nice and sturdy, and yeah, it's sort of like wipeable clean as well. And we've got that in this tan, we've got it in a navy, and then like a sort of olivey, kind of dark olive green colour as well. Then you could jazz it up with some fun webbing or some fun lining or something. Okay, so the next one was your go-to interfacing for different fabrics / projects. What is a good one to keep in your stash? I think this probably depends on like generally what type of fabric you most commonly sew with. Because the general premise is you want to be trying to match your interfacing to the fabric that you're working with in terms of like weight, so that it's not making the fabric overly stiff or it's not making it stiff enough. So yeah, I guess it depends like generally what type of fabrics you mostly sew with or you have in your stash, and then having some interfacings to go with that. So for woven fabrics, my favourite, oh, I thought I brought it over and I haven't, sorry everyone. I thought this was it, but it's not, this is a different one, is the cotton woven interfacing. I don't know, I just generally prefer it cotton woven interfacing compared to the non-woven interfacing. I don't know why, I just personally prefer it a little bit more, but sometimes it can be a little bit too thick and heavy, in which case you do want something a little bit lighter weight, more like medium weight non-woven one. If you like sewing with viscose or sort of lighter weight fabrics, then we do have this super lightweight one. This is the one that we had in the Gladys blouse kit before Christmas, which was like a really lightweight viscose crepe. And this is the lightweight iron-on woven natural interfacing. So it's very lightweight and very sort of soft and feathery. So, you know, it's going to stabilise your fabric, but it's still going to allow the fabric to move around and kind of drape if you need it to. And then I have also before used the stretch interfacing. Obviously you can use it on stretch fabrics, but you can also use it on lightweight viscoses as well, woven viscoses, and it will help to maintain drape. So I suppose it'll also sort of depend what the function of the interfacing is as well. Like if you're wanting the interfacing to add structure and definition to your garment, then you want to go for something that is going to be like a little bit sturdy. For example, like a button band, you know, and you would want that to kind of hold its form and shape potentially a little bit more. Whereas if it's maybe like a neckline on like a really lightweight floaty fabric and you don't want the neckline to be stiff, you still want it to be able to sort of move around, but you don't want it to stretch out, then actually using something that's very lightweight like the stretch one or like that super lightweight one is going to do that. It's going to stabilise it, but without like compromising the aesthetic of the garment. So I hope that helps. Woven interfacing is so much nicer to touch while you're sewing, agreed. Is the Archer shirt true to fit? I've read that the sleeves are very wide and long. I personally haven't found that on the sleeves. I do never wear the sleeves actually down. I always roll them up. I don't know, that's just how I like to wear shirts. But it is, you know, it doesn't have any darts or anything. It isn't like a fitted shirt, but I would say generally it comes up true to size. I personally don't size down when I make the Archer shirt anyway. So hopefully that gives a little bit of context. I love the woven interfacing. I use it for everything regardless of what I'm sewing. It sticks so well. Could you use the Millerain fabric for the Luskin tire bag? Yeah, I think you could. Sorry Lauren, I just want to check, is the lining fabric for the bob trench called soft pink floral box viscose lining fabric? That's the one. Well done for finding it. It is that one, indeed. Okay, the next question was, do you have any lessons that would be suitable for a 9-year-old? We have a sewing machine and heaps of fabric and thread, but I'm not confident enough to teach her. perhaps a lesson suitable for us both as beginners. So we do have kids after school classes at the moment. It's like a termly thing. At the moment we don't have anything that would be for like for kids and parents to come at the same time, but I will certainly take note of that suggestion. It sounds like fun. Okay, the next question was pattern suggestions for the coral foliage border fabric. This was what was in our Unpicking the Week newsletter. If you haven't signed up to our newsletter, give it a go. We send out a newsletter every Friday that's got lots of new things in it, lots of ideas. But this is the fabric here. So it is 100% cotton and $16.90 a metre. So it's actually got it on both. So it's got the embroidery on both sides, but it's bigger on one side than the other. So can you see that that's the border on that side? But then in the other selvage, it's just a little bit more subtle. So it means that when you come to use this fabric and you are cutting your pieces out, basically you have to cut them out like this way round. So although that side there is tiny like the selvage, you have to sort of flip your pattern pieces 90 degrees and cut them out this way so that is the right way up. So a few ideas of things that I've done before where I've incorporated a border print. The Friday Pattern Company Donny shirt, I've used a border print to make that, and also the Hey June handmade Phoenix blouse. That's a PDF pattern. You have to get that from the Handmade June website. Did it as a kit a few years ago, and yeah, they both look really nice in that. The other one that I thought would be nice is the named Keritu. It's a skirt or a dress, but you can just make it as a skirt. And they do have a border print in one of their samples. It looks quite nice. It's just like quite a simple sort of tiered gathered skirt, maxi skirt, and I think that would look really nice and summery as well. So a few suggestions there. Somebody's asking, how do you sign up to the newsletter? So if you go to the website, so actually I think if you just go to the link in the profile of the Instagram account, then you'll see there's a button there to sign up to the newsletter. The Phoenix tunic from a few years ago would look beautiful. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. What's the blue stripy fabric with the pink embroidery called, please? It is called Coral Foliage Scalloped Border Cotton Fabric, and it will be in the Just Arrived section because it's one of the new ones. Okay, so the next question is, what is the main difference between the Tilly and the Buttons Billy sweater and the Megan Nielsen Jara? So we've done both of these as kits before. They're both really lovely jumper patterns. And I do have a sample of both of them. Oh, I've got a sample of both of them to show you. This one is here as the Billy sweater. And there's a few variations that you can make with it, but in terms of sort of the fit and the general kind of structure, I would say that the neckline on the Billy is generally higher and tighter. It's got a set-in sleeve, so the seam of the sleeve is going to sit more like here, and it's generally like a bit more fitted. It's not, it's a jumper, so it's not like, but it's just generally a bit more sort of streamlined if you make it like up to the size, the size. Obviously you could size up and then it would be like a bit more loose fitting and baggy. Then with the Jara, so this is the Jara here, and I would say that for this one the neckline is much wider and it's a bit lower as well. And then also the other main difference is where the sleeve is, so it's more like an off the shoulder. It's like a drop shoulder sleeve. So the seam of the sleeve is going to be sitting more like here as opposed to up here on the Billy. And generally it's more boxy as well, so it's a bit more, it's just wide, like the bodice is just wider. And the hem band is just a bit wider as well. And you can customise that because you can just make the hem band narrower and then it'll sort of pull everything in. But yeah, that's like the main sort of differences. As a side note, for anybody who missed out on this fabric as a kit, I do have plans afoot to try and get this fabric back again. It's very early days, but bear with me on that one. But yeah, because we've done both of these kits as Sewing Society, both of these patterns as Sewing Society kits before, then the top tips video. is available on the website. Okay, I made the Kelly with the Millerine fabric and it's great. It's yeah, I think you could use it to make the Kelly, yes. How do you achieve that really neat top stitching at the neckline of the belly? It looks so nice and flat. Generally, when I do top stitching, I always make sure that the needle's in the middle position of the foot. And really it's about like tuning your eye into like a reference point on the foot of your machine and getting it lined up with either like another seam line or the edge of the fabric. And then just taking your time and practice. Okay, so the next question was recommendations for a loose floaty summer dress covering the knees and shoulders, please. Paper cut patterns, I've got some really nice ones. We've got a nice selection on the website for that. The Wilder Friday Pattern Company dress is just quite a classic sort of like loose, free-flowing, quite, you know, boxy, loose dress. And then the Closet Core next, the one that I showed as well, that's also quite sort of ethereal and loose and floaty. So that's also a really popular one. Okay, the next question was, can you recommend an easy pattern for a woolen coat? So we did the Grainline Yates coat as a kit a few years ago, and I would say it's fairly straightforward. If you're using wool, you've asked a pattern for a woolen coat, so I'm presuming you're using wool, definitely look to get a clapper, a wooden pressing clapper. It'll make it much, much easier. I know I've not made these ones, but I know other popular ones are the Tessuti Berlin. It's quite a simple one. And the I Am Artemis and the Paper Cut Nova. They're all like nice woolen coat ones that don't look too complicated. What was the leopard print pattern? I missed that. Oh, it's the Chica, this one. It's the Chica Cheetah French Terry. We have some of the pink colourway of this left, but we don't have any of the navy, but that's the one I'm hoping to be able to get back soon. The Cashmere Ross Clare cover wrap dress covers the shoulders and can be quite long. Yeah, that's another good suggestion too, thank you. Any recommendations for a beach cover-up pattern? I feel like there can be quite a lot of interpretations for a beach cover-up, and also I think depending on what you see as being a beach cover-up, you can kind of customise quite a lot of dress patterns just by maybe using a fabric that's maybe feels a bit more like beach cover-up to you, like maybe something that's lighter weight or something, yeah, that's a bit more transparent maybe, I don't know. It depends what you want out of a beach cover-up pattern. I have used the True Bice Roscoe pattern before as a beach cover-up, and I used a really lightweight gauze for that. It was like a single gauze. It was quite a few years ago now. It was one of the old Atelier Brunette ones, but it's quite loose and sort of flowing. So yeah, I've used that one before. Or the other alternative, which is like a different style of thing, is the Sew Over It Sylvia robe, which we did that as a kit a few summers ago, and it's a bit more like a kind of loose fitting sort of summer jacket. You could have a little tie on it if you wanted. So yeah, that would be something that you'd more like put your arms into as opposed to like pulling over your head and putting on. The Closet Core Charlie Caftan could be another one. The Friday Pattern Company Wilder as well, like it's nice and loose, so it would be quite easy to sort of chuck it on if you were a bit sticky from sun cream and sweaty and stuff. And then I have also used the Hey June Handmade Phoenix as a beach cover up before. It's quite easy to lengthen that, and again it's quite loose, so it has like beach cover up vibes to me. The Maker's Atelier does a really nice beach cover up pattern, and there's a style arc pattern with drawstrings and toggles. That sounds good, so another few suggestions there. Okay, the next question was, actually it wasn't really a question, and I hope I'm interpreting this right, so if you're watching and I've got the wrong end of the stick, let me know. So it was same pattern, different looks with different fabric options. So I guess, yeah, the sort of general idea is there that you can have one sewing pattern, but depending on what type of fabric you choose, you can get like a totally different look. What I would suggest is maybe like a good thing to do is just start getting familiar with what different types of fabric look like when they're made into garments. So I've got 3 posts that I did, blog posts and like video roundups that I did last year. I've got one that's like loads and loads of dresses that I've made, one that's loads and loads of tops, woven tops that I've made, or like little blouses, and then other ones are ones that are like shirts, or like ones that have got buttons in the front. So there's quite a lot of different fabrics in there, so you can just generally start to see what different garments look like made up in different fabrics, and can really start to help you visualize when you're like looking at a pattern and you're thinking about what fabric to use, actually what's the end result going to be. Because sometimes that can be the hardest thing to do, especially when you're shopping online. You're thinking, how does that fabric actually, you know, drape or move? We do now add little videos onto all of our fabric listings, so that'll give you like a really nice idea of the texture and the sort of the kind of flow that a fabric's got to, which can be really helpful. So yeah, it might be worth checking out some of those roundup posts that I did last year. So they're on the website and on my YouTube channel as well. The So Love patterns. Whitcomb top can be made in a knit or woven fabric, or a combination of both. So one pattern and lots of different looks. That sounds very versatile. Okay, the next one was, could I see the So Liberated Arthur pants in corduroy if you have some? So I don't have them made up in corduroy, I'm afraid. But the Arthur pants they're really, really wide legs, almost like a big balloon leg. And I think if you're making them and you're trying to pick a fabric, I suppose what you need to like try and envisage or like decide in your mind is how much do you want the fullness of that leg to be maintained? Like, do you want the fullness and the structure to kind of really hold its shape? Or do you want the fabric to be able to like move around a little bit more? So I've got a couple of corduroys to show you, and I'll try and hold a bit of it out so that you can kind of see how the fabric is like moving around a little bit. So this is quite a chunky non-stretch cord, but it is, I would say, given that it's chunky, it is quite floppy. Like you can see it's, you know, it's like when I kind of bunch it up, it's not like totally holding its shape, like it is flopping quite a bit. And that comes in lots of colourways as well. So this is the orchid pink chunky cotton corduroy fabrics, $15.90 a metre. Whereas we've got this other needle cord, which is actually a stretch needle cord, but you still treat it as a woven fabric. You could use it to make the Arthur pants, and it just tends to hold its structure a little bit more. Like it's just a bit stiffer. Like you can see here, when I come to kind of like scrunch this up and try and move it, it just like holds its shape a lot more. It's just a lot stiffer. So yeah, I guess that's the difference there. The other thing that you could do is, we don't have any in stock at the moment, unfortunately, but you can also get needle cord that's non-stretch. So this has just got elastane in it, which means that it's just a bit stretchy. But you can get non-stretch needle cord, which is much lighter weight and kind of floppy. It's actually very similar to the corduroy that this shirt was made from here. And it tends to be a bit, I wouldn't say it's drapey, but it just like moves around a little bit more. So it's not gonna like firmly sort of hold that full shape of the Arthur pants. So I hope that helps. Would it be easy to lengthen the Donny sleeves to be 3/4 length? Yeah, I think it would be. They're quite simple sort of set-in sleeves. Can anyone advise about how to close fitting the avid seamstress the blouse is under the arms, please? Oh, can anyone advise about how close fit it is? I would say that generally comes up. When I first made it, it came up more fitted than what I was expecting it to. That was my general experience. Friday Pattern Company have a blog tutorial on their website on how to lengthen the sleeves of the Donny. Yeah, they always have lots of different posts, don't they? I don't remember it being too tight or particularly loose. I found the blouse really tight under the arm and had to adjust the pattern. I've made half a dozen of the blouse and never had a problem. I found the sleeves narrow and the shoulders tight. I found the blouse pattern really small under the arms. Yeah, I would say my own personal experience is it just came up a bit more fitted than I was expecting it to. Okay, the next question was, what fabric would you recommend for the Friday Pattern Company duster? So it's like quite a long coat with a sort of open kind of waterfall collar. And I've got a couple of suggestions here. Both are woolen ones. This one here is a gorgeous teal colour. So it's teal, subtle texture, wool fabric. It's 100% wool. I'm going to take a little bit out to show you because it's not like a really thick structured wool. So I think it would flop really nicely, like it would move in that fullness of the style of the duster. And then I've also got this other one here, which is a nice herringbone one. So it's got a nice texture in it as well. This is the navy herringbone wool fabric. Again, it's 100% wool, and it's and again it's quite, you can see that it's quite sort of floppy too. So yeah, I think it would just drape really nicely in that open shawl style. Okay, so the next one was, I'm looking for a soft drapey cord for some trousers and a pattern suggestion too. I generally wouldn't really associate the word cord with being drapey. Drapey to me is something that's like, it's quite floppy, it's like a viscose or a tencel or rayon or like a silk or something. That would be drapey to me. Corduroy tends not to really drape or kind of flop like that. But you can get lighter weight corduroys like the one I was just describing. So like a needle cord that's non-stretch, that's fairly lightweight, you know, it's got very, very fine cords on it, is going to be like a bit more floppy and not hold its structure as much, but I probably wouldn't describe it as being drapey. But I think the Merchant Mills Eve would look good in something like that, or the Arthur, the Sew Liberated Arthur. I think the Closet Core Mitchell could work in something like that too. Okay, the next one was, can Liberty Tana Lawn be used for a jumpsuit like the Zadie? I'm going to show you a Liberty Tana Lawn here. This is one of the new ones. In case you like the print, as an aside, it is the Liberty Optic Floral A Tana Lawn. My personal opinion would be no for the Zadie. I think it's too thin. I think it would just feel too thin on your body, and I think even if you flatlined it, which is where you like cut it out of lining, you cut it out the main fabric, and before you do any construction, you base the two layers together in the seam allowance, so it effectively becomes one bit of fabric, and then you just construct it as per the pattern, but it's effectively already lined. I think, and that would make it less see-through. I feel like even if you did do that, because the Zadie is it's not voluminous, but it's not, you know, there's quite a lot of fabric in the Zadie, and I just think it wouldn't, I personally would just think it would like feel a bit too much. So I'm going to say no to that one, in my own personal opinion. I don't know, maybe someone else has tried it and found it's okay. Okay, the next question was, I need a drapey bright floral fabric for the folk wear flamenco dress. So I looked up the folk wear flamenco dress. It is amazing as it sounds. It is basically a flamenco dress with all of those really cool ruffles and like asymmetrical, and it looks amazing for doing the flamenco. So I've got a couple of options to show you. The first one is this one here, so it's definitely bright and floral, and this is one of the new fabrics as well. So the Magenta Blooms linen viscose fabric is 55 linen and 45 viscose, so it's got a nice texture like linen, but then when you open it out, because it's got the viscose in it, it's nice and floppy, and it's going to move around a lot and swish very nicely, which is going to be good for flamenco. And then actually someone else also just wanted to see this one, so I hope that you can see it and you like it. It's a nice bright magenta with lovely vibrant orange flowers on it as well. Okay, and then the other one that I thought would be nice and bright and floral is this one here, another big heavy roll. This one is the Cerise and Navy Floral Burst Stretch Viscose fabric. So it is a woven fabric. Because it's a twill weave, it's a little bit heavier, and because it's got a little bit of elastane in it, it just means it's got a bit of stretch, but you would still treat it as a woven fabric. It just means it's got like a little bit of give, but it still drapes really nicely, it still swishes around, it's just got a bit more weight and structure to it. So I think that would be nice for that as well. And then the next one was, I've been invited to a work event for the first time. Semi-formal dress pattern and fabric, please. So we were talking about some wedding guest dress ideas earlier, so some of them definitely, actually some of the ones that I thought of and I'd written down were ones we were mentioning earlier. The Closet Core Elodie, the Dean Doe Orchidee, and then I also, so if you look on the Fold Line website, they always have loads of different pattern suggestions and roundups, and they've got one that's a bit more for like formal occasions, and there was one on there that I thought looked really nice. So it's Tessa Rosa, that is the pattern designer, and it's the Vera dress, and it looks really nice as well. It looked maybe like a little bit more formal, but yeah, would be nice in like a swishy fabric. Something like this would be nice. I suppose it depends how formal you want to go, because I think this would look nice and smart, but obviously it's quite vibrant and bright, so it depends if you want to go for that look you're at work thing. Or alternatively, it's maybe like a little bit more subtle, something plain that would be nice is the Tencel twills. So this one is the, oh, it doesn't have a tag. I think this is the wash teal colourway, but this is a really nice fabric because it's Tencel, so it drapes really well. It's twill weaves, it's a bit thicker, it's got nice structure to it, like you wouldn't need to line that at all. It's just going to drape and swish and move really nicely. And then the other one, which I really love, I actually really want to make a dress in this myself. I've been looking at one of the Maison fauve dresses, one that's got all the pin tucks down the front. I can't remember what it's called now. But this is one of the Atelier Brunette ones. Again, it's a viscose twill too, and I've not, oh sorry, I'm not doing very well with the tags this evening. It's lost its tag as well. I think it's called Fizzy, the print, this one. But yeah, it's one of the Atelier Brunette ones, so I think that would be nice as well. Okay, somebody's asking, would the linen viscose be okay for the fibre mid Josephine? Yes, it would. I think that would be really nice. Okay, so the last few questions are the best fabric to use for the Lotta dress, for the Tillian Buttons Lotta dress. I've just realised, well, I forgot to bring the fabrics over for that, but I was thinking that a viscose linen would be good. So you could, well, the viscose linen that I showed before would be good. The linen part of it just makes it a little bit more stable, so it's a bit easier to work with rather than like 100% viscose, which is what I've used to make the Lotta before. Which is, I mean, it's fine, it's not too hard. I suppose it depends how confident you are. But we do have some plain viscose linens as well, which would work, they'd be nice. And then another good one would be a cotton lawn. Or a cotton poplin would be nice too, and that's going to be a bit more stable to work with. Would a viscose twill work for the peony dress? Yes, I think it would. I've used your Chica Chica viscose for mine. That sounds lovely. Okay, so the next question was, can you or any of the viewers recommend a good men's ordinary t-shirt, i.e. with a good high crew neck and well designed? Prefer a drop shoulder, but raglan would be fine too. I want to make my son some t-shirts, but they seem too open at the neck, some of them, like the women's ones are often too open. So I have made my husband the Thread Theory Strathcona tee before. It's got an option with like a little sort of placket as well, but it does just have a plain one with a neckband, and the neck on that is quite high. It's more of like a set-in sleeve. Then I also saw the Waves and Wild men's longboard t-shirt and the Wardrobe by Me men's classic t-shirt. Both of them looked like they had like a decent high crew neck. So yeah, but if anybody else has got a men's suggestion t-shirt pattern that you've used and found good, then let me know. Okay, the last few questions were, can you show the Zen Tango cotton? I'm thinking of making a billowy shirt dress if it's not too stiff. This is a really nice fabric. Let me pull it out and show you. Oh, there's about to be a fabric avalanche beside me. So yeah, this is the Zen Tangle cotton fabric, 100% cotton. I would say it's more like heavier than a lawn. This would actually be nice for the Lotta as well. So it's navy in the background, like quite a dark navy, and then yeah, like this quite big Zen tangle pattern. I think it would be really nice for a shirt dress, definitely. I think it would be good. It's nice and crisp, but it's not too stiff. So yeah, thumbs up for that one. Is the Turquoise Blossom viscose fabric too see-through for a blouse? Turquoise viscose. Sorry, I don't know what that one is off the top of my head. I'm sorry. If you can DM me that, I will check and then I'll let you know. Would the Tango one work for the Zadie? Better, I would say probably better than a lawn, because I feel like it's a bit less opaque. It's definitely going to feel quite summery if this is like your whole outfit. The magenta and navy leopard print is what I've got. Thanks for letting me know. Lovely. Okay, so then the last question is, could you show the 4-ounce Tencel in both blue colours to compare? I'd like to make a blue blouse. Does it have some drape? Generally anything that's got tencel in it, what I would say, I would describe it as having drape. It's got, you know, it's going to be quite floppy and sort of floaty. Let me see if I can get this out without all of these fabrics falling down. I'm sorry I couldn't find the slightly darker one. We do have another colourway in stock, but there's only a couple of meters left. And I'm sorry that I couldn't find it in time to show you, but this is the faded stonewash. It's the 4.3 ounce tencel chambray fabric, so it's 100% tencel, 16.20 a metre. And yeah, it definitely has drape, I would say. You can see it's very floppy here. This is actually the fabric that we used, the type of fabric that we used for the Sewing Society kit for the Amherst shirt, the Heijun handmade Amherst shirt. And it works really nicely. It feels really soft. It's lovely to work with. It washes really well. It's a really nice fabric. So yeah, thumbs up for making a blouse. But I'm sorry couldn't find the other colour. But yeah, is the new white viscose with turquoise and peach flowers on it, if that helps. Yeah, I think I know what one it is. It's on one of the rolls. And the question was, would it be too see-through for a blouse? I'll check. I need to put my hand behind it to check, because it does have quite a pale background to it. Usually they are okay, but I will double check for you. But if you send me a direct message, so then I don't lose who you are, then I can let you know afterwards once I end the live. So yeah, that was all the questions that I had sent in beforehand. So thank you everyone for sending in your questions. And then, as I said at the beginning, there's lots of deliveries coming this week, lots of new fabrics. So I should have loads of new things to show you next Monday, which is very exciting. So yeah, hopefully I see you at the weekend if you're coming to the sample sale. If not, I hope you have a good week anyway, and I'll see you next Monday. You can watch back here on Instagram, or you can watch back on YouTube as well. And you can also see all of the questions that I cover in this live. I'm going to start making a blog post. So there'll be a blog post that's on the website that summarises each live, and it just sort of brings together all the questions that I answered. So if you're maybe wanting to check if a question's included in a video, then you can have a look there as well. But thanks for your thanks, everyone. I hope you've enjoyed all of my fabric and sewing chat. And yeah, I'll see you at the weekend if you're coming to the sample sale, or if not, I will see you again next Monday at 8 o'clock. Okay, bye.